Hi guys. Okay, I had this box of strips, stupid little fabric strips and other crap. I don't know what's in there. Anyway, all long strips, and I made some raggedy rope out of it and made some raggedy rope flowers. Aren't they cute? I love them. They're so scruffy and raggedy and right up my alley. I especially love this one. I think it's the pink that makes it pop. Anyway, all I did was make some rag rope and sewed it and then sewed it into coils to make flowers. Now, I did post a picture on Facebook the other day, and a few people got their names, asked if I could make them. There were quite a few people who asked, so I've just picked the first three names. So Joanne, Jennifer, and Helena. This is for you. Aren't they gorgeous? I love them. Where's the rest? I don't know where they are. Already lost on my desk. Anyway. Also, they're good for junk journals because, look, they're quite thin. They are meaty in that they're quite hefty, weighty, you know. But they're really thin, so they're great for junk journal covers or even pages, and you can do them in whatever size you want. And colour combos. I've kept mine all mixed. I do actually colour sort my scrap fabric. Not the strippy bits like this though. Usually these little strippy bits I use for, where's the tag? For tag toppers. So, you know, when you make tags and you just need a little bit of string or something to put up the top. I usually just use all these stupid little strips for that. Anyway, I'll show you how to make them. So you can colour combo them, you know, make just blue ones with all blue strips or just pink ones with pink strips. I like the mixed colours. I think they look more scruffy and raggedy. And I also like little bits hanging off and out. They just look more raggedy. I've just sewn random buttons in the middle. Okay, now I'll show you what I did. I made some rag rope. Now, I've got one here that I've kind of half started, but I'll show you from scratch. Now, you would have seen a lot of people make rag rope on YouTube, if you're like me and you like scrappy fabric stuff. Two videos come to mind, and that's Pamela from Gypsy Girl Crafts and Sigrid from Secret Soto or Creativebirdie. What? I can never remember your channel name. I don't know why. I've followed you for years, but I'm going to find the two videos that they made rag rope and I'll put them down below. Secret made a huge big pile of rag rope from memory. That was a few years ago. And Pamela, I think sometime in the past year, made some rag rope. But anyway, they don't sew theirs. They just twist it. The way you do it. I don't want to do a tutorial on that because that's not the way I'm doing it. But basically they twist it, fold it over, twist it, fold it kind of thing. Now, I'm too lazy to do that. I just don't have the patience to do that. I have made rag rope for, you know, rag rugs like that in the past, but I just don't have the patience to sit there and twirl it all together. So I just run mine through the sewing machine because I find it so super quick to do and just easier to manage. And you can put the teeny tiny small bits in if you want. Anyway, so you can see this is sewn, but I'll show you how to make it. So if you don't want to sew your rope, what I'm saying is go watch Pamela or Secret's video and you can make some rag rope without sewing it because you don't need to sew it. I just prefer to sew it. It's easier for me. What have I used? Any bits of crap strips, see? They don't even have to be the same width the whole way down. This is wider at this end. This this is actually a shoelace that I snipped up the middle in two. And now little threads are everywhere. Look at that. Maybe I shouldn't have snipped it, but that was a shoelace. I'm going to put that aside because it's making strings go everywhere. Old clothing, old linens. This was a bed sheet. I think this was the hem around the edge or the seam that I, it's folded over that I snipped in two. Sometimes when you get Etsy orders from me, the string that I use to wrap your packages, sometimes it's like old scrap fabric like this. I've got bits of ribbon in here. I've got some yarn. This was a ball of yarn. Well, it was a ball of yarn until Grandkitty's got to it and killed it. Oop, now it's all tangled in my... couldn't be bothered rolling it back up. It's all knotted, so I'm just going to snip it and use it for this. This was upholstery fabric. It's quite thick, but you've got the seam, the sewn edges. Old clothing. This was a dress that I used to make little notebooks a while back because it's sheer. I just glued down bunches of scrap papers and covered it in sheer fabric. This one is quite thick, so quite wide, but I'll leave it like that because when you put it stretchy, it's quite thin. I don't even know what this was from, but I've used the pink sheer fabric for something. I don't know. See, all the seams, when I use clothes, I don't buy fabric. If you're new to my channel, I don't buy new fabric. All my fabric is from old linens, old clothes. I may have some new fabric, but it's purchased from a recycle centre or a charity op shop, charity secondhand store. So when I cut clothing up to make stuff, I always have these seams and, weird odd bits. This was a bed sheet as well. Just look, any scrappy, stupid bits that you've got lying around. Yeah, that's a seam as well. Anyway, just chuck it all in. Use it all. You can, bits of string. Okay, this one's too small, but if you've got, bits of brown string, whatever, just chuck it all in. I've also used, okay, sometimes I do stupid stuff off camera that sometimes I feel too embarrassed to show because it's so weird and crazy. But often when I talk to other crafty people I know, and I hear they do the same thing, I'm like, oh, okay, maybe I'm not that kooky after all. Okay, so I think I just need to show you all the stupid stuff I do. Okay, you would have seen I keep the threads from my sewing machine, and this is my second box. I've got another box over there. These are threads from the sewing machine and from when you rip apart fabric. Now, I also... This is what I mean about, sometimes I get embarrassed about the stupid things I do. Okay, if you grab handfuls of this, you can just, go like that and turn it into another strand for your raggedy flowers or for whatever. I've used this for tag toppers previously. I've sewn this into rope previously. Anyway, I use it all. I'm a junker through and through. Anyway, okay, let's get started. Now, the way I made my rope, I just suggest go watch Pamela's or Secrets videos first because you may want to make your rope that way. Do whatever you find easier. Okay, so I just took That's about the width I've been using. Some are thicker, some are thinner. It doesn't matter. Just use it all. Okay. And I've been putting together about 5 strands. I've found is a good thickness for me. You can make them thicker or thinner. Doesn't matter. I will snip that bit off. The thicker you make your rope, the thicker your flowers will be. If you make them too thick, it's kind of hard to sew them under the machine. But you don't have to sew them either. Once you've got your rope made, whether it's done in the non-sewn way by Pamela in that video, or my sewn way, once you've got your rope, when you make your flowers, I'll be sewing them on the machine, but you don't have to sew them either. I'll show you a different way. So this is a sew and no sew project. I know not everyone's got a sewing machine, but I will sew mine. But I'll show you how to do it as well without a machine. Okay, stop talking. Put 5 strands together. What is, oh my gosh, what was this? I don't even remember. And I've shuffled this pile so much now, they're all like hooked together. Okay, just get 5 little strands. 3, what else? Let's get some green in there. And some red, eh? Okay. Also want to get rid of some of that yarn. Where is it here? I've got so much yarn, oh my gosh. Because I used to, well, I was going to say I used to crochet. I used to think I could crochet. I just made it up as I go. But also my grandmother, I got heaps of yarn off her. She was a really good crocheter and knitter. Okay. So just get 5 strands together. It doesn't matter what length. I've kind of picked long ones because I think it'll be easier to show you. But you can use little short bits as well. I'll show you how to add them in. Little bits like this even. Okay. Now I'm going to move you to my sewing machine. Oh, to start it off, sorry, get your little 5 bits together. Give it a little twist. And just peg it or something, or tie a knot or something. I've just found it easier to just use a little clip because I'm going to sew it, and then once you get started sewing you can take the clip off. You don't need it. Okay, I'm moving you to my machine. Okay, so I've got my machine on number 3 and just a zigzag stitch. So I've got a fairly wide zigzag stitch, but you can adjust it once you get started. I'll show you. So my fabric is just clipped together. Hope you can see okay. So I've just clipped it together. I'm going to give it a little twist to get it started. And you just want to, I'm just making my zigzag a little smaller, so it's a little bit before number 3. Because I just want it to catch both sides. Okay. Oops. Okay, I've just gone back and forwards a little. Now all I'm going to do is just twist it over the top. I'm twisting away from me, but you can twist it either way. It doesn't matter. It's just I find it easier to use my left hand. And I'm just going to pretty much sew it. So once you get started, you can take your little clip off or leave it. Doesn't matter. So I'm just twisting it away from me. And I just keep an eye on it. So when I get to the end of one of the strips, see, I can see the red was a lot shorter. I'll add another one. So I try and keep it the same thickness throughout. But really, if you get bulky bits, like here, might be a bit bulkier. If you get bulky bits, it really doesn't matter. When you twist your flowers, you can't really notice. And this is what it's looking like. This is the other one that I've sewn earlier. And you don't need to twist it very tight. I just twist it so that it's kind of like a rounded rope shape and not too flat. And let me just, I hope you can see okay. Okay, see here I've got to the end of my red. So, okay, so now I'm just going to add a bit of orange. And I just really put it in and twist it. Now where the join is, sometimes little bits poke out, and I just don't even worry about that, to be honest. If you don't want it, just get one of the strands and kind of try and wrap it around and tack that little short bit down. But you can snip it off after your roll's done anyway. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to add some purple. And just twist away. Okay, so you're just getting strips like this. See, this bit I didn't catch over the sides, but don't worry. See how it's a bit flat instead of rounded like this? Don't worry, because when we make our flowers, you're not going to notice anyway. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I'm going to continue on with this, and I'll probably fast forward a bit so you don't have to sit through this whole torturous bit. Oh, add that in here somewhere. Okay, maybe that's a better angle. In which case, I'm going to twist my fabric the other way. It's just really hard to show anything on the sewing machine. I don't have a tripod. What else can I add in? Let's add in some of that, you know, that thread from the sewing machine. Hold on, let me just sew a bit more. To hold it in. And don't be too precious. See how little bits can stick out. Certain areas are wider than other areas. Doesn't matter. Just sew. Use up those scraps. I must say it's much easier to do when you're not filming. Okay, and at the end I just backstitch a little. Okay, now I hope you could see what I was doing. It's very hard to film at the sewing machine. I really should get a tripod. I keep saying it, but I never do. Okay. Oh, no, here I go with the lighting again. Okay, so this was the end I started with the clip. Just going to take that off. You'll see I've got some fabric, loose fabric, before where I started stitching. I'm just going to snip that off. Okay. Now, if you look along your rope, you'll see some little bits hanging out like that. If you want your little flowers really scrappy with little bits poking out throughout, you can leave them on. If you don't, if you want them kind of really flat, just snip them off. I think I'm going to snip mine off. Well, to a certain extent. The ones that are really obvious, I'll snip off. Little bits like that, I'll leave. Ooh, missed a whole big chunk there. You're going to have all these little bitty fabric scraps that you also need to save. Oh my gosh. Like seriously, I don't throw away one scrap of fabric. Okay, I might leave these bits. Might poke him out. Chop that little guy. Might leave those thready bits. That's a bit thick. Yeah, filming it's just very hard to twist it. I think my rope was a lot better when I wasn't filming. Just so hard because, you know, I've got my arms around the camera like that, trying not to bump it. But you get the idea. Just twist some fabric and sew it. I'm trying to see where I added that sewing machine thread. I really can't tell. It's quite well hidden. Now all I've done to do my flower is I've just rolled it. Roll, roll, roll. That's it. Now I've sewn mine and I'll show you how to sew it. If you're not sewing yours, you can glue it or hand sew it, which that would take forever. But maybe some fabric glue. I would just put some there, roll, roll, put a bit more, roll, roll, put a bit more, and keep rolling it with fabric glue. But then you may need to just clip it at the end to hold it together while it dries. Now I'm sewing mine, not gluing. So to get it started, what I did to get mine started, I just rolled a bit until it's a workable size for my machine. So maybe this size. And all I'm going to do is sew straight across that way and then just sew back and across just to hold the center bit together. Once that's together, then I'm going to start sewing around and around and around, but I'll show you at my machine. So like I showed you before, just wind a little bit to get a workable size. Just round around. Okay, so that's the size I'm going to have mine. Hope you can get an idea. Just going to sew across, just to hold it all together. But for this, I'm going to move my sewing machine up to number 4. It was on 3 when I was sewing the rope. And the reason is I want to, well, once we've sewn this little bit, we're going to sew around, and you want to capture both sides of the rope. So just hold this fairly flat. Hope you can see. It's so hard to film this. I'm trying to make sure that you can see what I'm doing. I hope you can see. Can I zoom in a little? Oh, maybe I should have zoomed in for the rope. Okay, so I've got my little coil. I'm just going to sew straight across first to start. Just going to turn it a little. Actually, I think it'll be easier to show you if I just... Okay, I'm just going to sew over to the other side. I'm going to turn it and sew across now. Okay, I'm going to snip the thread here just to show you because I think it'll be easier. Okay, let me get the little threads off. Now, when you do it yourself, you don't have to snip and stop here. I'm just doing it for ease to show you. Okay, when I've got my little, the start of my little cookie, it looks like a lollipop, doesn't it? Isn't it cute? Okay, when I've got the start of that, you'll see you've got a kind of like a P shape, letter P. I've flipped it backwards, so I've got a Q shape instead, a small Q, because I find it easier to sew it winding around. I don't know if that makes any sense. Okay, see, I've got a little gap here as well because I didn't zigzag across that side. So when I start my coil though, that's okay because I'm actually going to start from here and go around. Okay. Sorry, so hard to show you. Okay, so I put my little cookie under, and all I'm going to do is make sure I capture this bit onto this bit, and that's why I've got a fairly large zigzag. Now, I've got a really thick piece here, unfortunately, at the start, so I'm actually going to twist that little thick piece to make it a bit thinner. But if you've sewn your coil consistently, your rope, if you've sewn your rope a consistent thickness the whole way, you won't need to do that. And generally, I don't do it. It's just at the start. Okay. So I've just gone forward and back a little, and now I'm just going to sew around. I think my hand's in the way, but I'm sewing and I'm kind of wrapping this as I go. Oh gosh, I don't know how I can sew this without getting in the way. Maybe if I go back a little bit. Yeah, look, I don't think I can sew this with without getting in the way, to be honest. Maybe I'll move you. Let's move you over here. Okay. Maybe that's better. Oops, I'm still in the way, aren't I? Sorry, it's really hard to show you. Okay, I think you might be able to see there. I'm just going around and around. Here's my loose rope here. And you can see my little cookie getting bigger. And then just sew it as big as you want. These would make great coasters as well, wouldn't they? I don't make anything that's not junk journal related anymore. I must say, everything goes into a junk journal. Okay, I think I might leave that one that big. So all I'm going to do here, I'm going to snip it. And then sew that bit. Now you can see I've missed a bit there. So I'm just going to go back and sew that on. See, I missed that little end bit. So let's just go back and re-sew him. My poor little machine. Oh, I've still missed it. That's okay. I'm going to snip it off, eh? Okay, and there's your little flower. Now I'll just sew a button in the middle. Isn't it cute? Looks like a lollipop. I love it. I think actually if you put some darker colours, whoop, I see a little gap there. See where I started? I'm going to sew that up. Yeah, I'm far worse doing this on camera, aren't I? I think I caught it then. I think it's one of those things as well. The more you do, the easier it becomes. So there's my little cookie. And let's do another one. Okay. I'm just going to roll it to get started. Now I need to make sure I sew across it better this time. Ooh, that middle bit's a bit thicker. Okay. My poor little machine. It's been tortured over the years so much. And he's still running strong. Might just go over across one more time. Where haven't I visited? I remember before I started YouTube, I used to think, why don't they do it at a better angle so that I can see and all this sort of stuff? And it wasn't until I actually started filming myself that I realized just how hard it is to film, especially at the sewing machine. That is the worst. Okay, I'm going to just stop it there so I can show you where I'm at. Okay, so I've got this little guy. So to start my coil, I've just kind of gone over. Don't think I've got any gaps this time. Nope. Okay, so I've got my little small letter Q or backwards P. And now I'm going to sew around and hopefully I will capture both sides this time and not leave a gap. Okay. Wait, I went off track for sure then. Wait, let me go back. Okay, I'm not even going to take these, oh no, I didn't go off track. My bobbin ran out. I was going to say I'm going to leave the bloopers in so that you know what it's actually like. But, oh, my bobbin ran out. Okay, let me just stop this and replace my bobbin. Okay. So I've changed my bobbin and I did actually start again, but then my top thread ran out. Oh my goodness. Okay. So let's start. Let's pop that in. I've got my rope on my right hand side, but do whatever is easier for you. I just find it easier to guide with my left hand. Okay. There's a little bit of a chunk there. Left a few gaps, I noticed. Okay, I think he's big enough. Now I've left a few gaps. I'm going to snip this here. Where's that little gap I left here? See that little gap? I'm just going to sew over that. I don't know why I'm leaving gaps this time. My original ones were gapless. Okay. Let's snip him off. I'm just going to trim the threads. the two we've just sewn. I like the ones with the yellow because it really pops. I think the hardest thing is picking which side you prefer. Okay, I'm going to do one more. See, I've still got heaps of rope left just from that little bit that we sewed. So if I sew all those scraps on my desk, imagine how many little flowers I can make. Okay. Whoops, I dropped it. Start my little coil. Okay, I might just making that big to start with. Okay, and just turn him and sew him a bit the other way. Just kind of do like a zigzag across it to get it started. Okay, I think he'll be right to get started. Head back over there. Okay, now I've got my little coil started and tacked down. I'm going to start sewing around. If you can sew around from the beginning, go for it. I just found it. I did for the first one, but it's really fiddly, stop-starty. I found it just easier. Sew across, you know, kind of like zigzag. I also think this rope might be a bit thicker than the one I made the first time, so my machine is not as happy. Snip him there. Okay, and that's this guy. I just think they're so nice and so cool. I need to trim my little threads. I could probably tuck that down a little better, which I will. Anyway, I'm going to pop some buttons on these guys. They're so colourful. They're so cool. These would be really good in boho journals. Okay, so these were the 3 that I had already made. And these were the 4 I just did with you. Actually, I think I did 3 and then I finished 1 off camera. This one I really like. I think the black in there gives the coils, or the, you know, when you go round and round, the swirls, a bit more definition. And these 2. So that's the size. I think they're really nice. I really love scrap fabric scruffy stuff like this. So I'm going to make some more in different sizes. I'd like to make some smaller, some more this size. And these 4, I just need to sew the buttons on. And I'm going to make some more. I really want to use up all those scraps. Like, what else do you do with this? Anyway, I've also got a playlist with some scrap fabric projects that I've done over the past couple of years while I've been on YouTube. I've got some other scrap fabric projects that I need to show you. I just need to get time to film. But give it a go and have a look through my scrap fabric playlist. There might be something else in there you like to see. I love little handmade flowers. I think they turn out so nice, especially these. I think they'd look really good in boho journals. Anyway, that's it, and thanks for watching. Bye bye.